Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your sources and unpack the most fascinating insights. Today, we're plunging into a really intriguing collection, excerpts from the 48 Laws of Power. It's often called a handbook on, well, the arts of indirection, draws on thousands of years of history.
That's right. And these aren't just, old stories or simple tricks. They really offer a framework for understanding these hidden dynamics in human interaction, the whole pursuit of influence. Our mission here, really, is to pull out the core strategies, maybe the fundamental human truths in these laws, help you quickly grasp what's really going on in this complex game of power.
So what's the takeaway for you, the listener? We're going to explore how complex situations, historically and even now, maybe in your own life, how they can be understood through these pretty potent principles. Might have a few aha moments, I think. Okay, so let's unpack this. One theme that jumps out immediately is the power of perception, controlling how others see you. It seems less about what is true and more about what seems true.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is Law 4, always say less than necessary. It's not just about seeming in control. It's about information asymmetry. When you're quiet, people fill the gaps, right? They often project competence or mystery.
Unto your silence.
Right. You control the narrative without saying much. Think of Louis XIV. He used few words deliberately. Even casual comments felt like pronouncements. It impressed people, intimidated them.
That's sharp. But is there a risk there? Appearing maybe cold or unapproachable? Could saying too little backfire? Create distrust?
Oh, it's definitely a balance. Mastery is knowing when to speak and making those few words count. It's not just silence for silence's sake. And speaking of how others see you, that leads right into reputation, which is maybe the ultimate currency here. Law 5.
So much depends on reputation guard with your life.
Precisely.
And sometimes literally life or death. You mentioned Rommel in World War II. His reputation for cunning, even exaggerated, instilled real fear.
Yeah.
That perception was a weapon.
It absolutely was, almost as potent as his actual forces.
Or, Edison refusing to share the Nobel with Tesla. He solidified his own fame, maybe at the expense of a rival. Today, it's the same for founders, influencers. Guarding that image is key.
It really highlights that reputation isn't just earned, it's built, it's defended. Which brings up a question. Can you totally reinvent yourself? Law 25 suggests, yes, recreate yourself. Don't just accept the role society gives you.
And we see people doing this dramatically. Julius Caesar, right? Not just a general, but a master of spectacle, managing every appearance, those purple robes, projecting authority.
Or George Sand, the writer, creating a male persona to defy limits.
Yeah, or Lincoln.
Yeah.
Cultivating that homespun, common man image, even though he was incredibly sharp.
It's about seizing control of your own story.
Exactly, designing your identity. But what about making your achievements seem effortless, almost magical? That's Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless.
This one's fascinating. Flips the script, doesn't it? Hide the struggle, the practice, the late nights. Like Rikyu, the Japanese tea master, painstaking planning, but it looked completely natural, spontaneous, as if it required no effort at all. Or Talleyrand, getting others to do the legwork, never looking strained. That nonchalance makes the skills seem innate, almost godlike. Harder to challenge.
That creates this aura.
And sticking with appearances, Law 32, play to people's fantasies. Tap into that desire for something romantic, fantastical, not just harsh reality. Figures like Bragadino the Alchemist or Salmanazar inventing Foremost in culture. They kept it vague, alluring.
The key is distance, right? The mirage fades if you get too close.
Exactly. Now, there's a more confrontational side, too. Law 44, disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Not physical mimicry, but psychological. Mirroring actions, emotions, values.
Go on and tell them, or charm them.
Both. Ivan the Terrible used it against the boyars. He stepped down, put a weak puppet on the throne, basically reflecting their own incompetence and disloyalty back at them, showed them the chaos they'd created.
And they had to ask him back, the strong ruler.
Right. It forced them to confront themselves. But it's risky. Alcibiades charmed people by mirroring virtues, but overuse led to betrayal when people saw it was just a tactic. These laws are powerful, but misuse is costly.
Okay, so beyond just appearance, there's self-control. Influencing others strategically. It feels less about brute force and more about psychology. Mastering yourself first.
Precisely. Law 17 highlights this. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. When your behavior lacks consistency, people are always off balance, reacting, trying to figure you out.
Creates an intimidating aura, yeah, because they can't predict you.
Exactly. Think of Hannibal, cornered by the Romans. tying burning brushwood to oxen horns. A totally bizarre, unpredictable move. The Romans were baffled, thought his army was somewhere else entirely. It created chaos, allowed his escape.
Brilliant. Disrupting expectations completely. And it's not just what you do, but where you focus your energy. Law 23, concentrate your forces. Find one rich mine, dig deeper. Don't flip between shallow ones. Seems counter to modern multitasking.
Absolutely. The Rothschilds dominated finance by concentrating. They built that private information network, focused their resources. Depth over breadth. Establish an unassailable position.
So once you've focused, how do you gain leverage over individuals? Law 33 is pretty direct.
Yeah.
Discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weakness, an insecurity, a need.
It's not necessarily malicious, it's about understanding human nature. Joseph Devine, the art dealer, exploited Arabella Huntington's social insecurity. Selling her exclusive, expensive art wasn't just about art, it was about validating her status, making her feel important.
Finding that core emotional lever, like Richelieu understanding Louis XIII's need to feel like a conqueror, pushing him into projects that made the king more dependent on Richelieu's strategy.
Exactly. Find the thumbscrew. But how do you influence them without force? That brings us to Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Coercion breeds resentment.
Right. You need to seduce them into wanting what you want, operate on their individual psychology.
It's more sustainable power. T.E. Lawrence in the desert. He didn't just give orders. He understood each soldier's mind was a kingdom to conquer. Tapped into their self-interest, their desire for independence. Tailored his approach.
Makes sense. Which contrasts sharply with just reacting emotionally. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. Anger and emotion are strategically bad for you. The goal is stay calm, objective, but make your enemies angry.
So counterintuitive, isn't it? Our instinct is to calm anger down, but this suggests provoking it strategically. Napoleon getting agitated about Talleyrand's rumored treason, he lost control in that rambling speech. Talleyrand stayed cool, indifferent, and gained the upper hand just by not reacting emotionally.
Keeping your composure while they lose theirs, like Selassie letting that rebel tribe get stronger, then ordering his enemy Gugza to fight them, pushing Gugza into a premature emotional attack.
Exactly, makes them lose their cool. And one last point here, Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Things offered for free are dangerous. Hidden tricks, obligations, it devalues the gift.
Resonates today, doesn't it? Free apps, mining data, opportunities with strings attached.
Definitely. Yellow Kid Weil, the con artist, always lured victims with easy, free money, played on greed. Contrast that with Louis XIV impoverishing his nobles, then offering royal money. That wasn't free, it was calculated dependency. Paying your own way, the law suggests, keeps you free from gratitude, guilt, deceit.
Okay, moving on. The source also talks about when to engage, when to pull back.
Yeah.
Managing power shifts. It's like a social battlefield manual.
It really is. And Law 18 is so counterintuitive. Do not build fortresses. Isolation is dangerous.
Our instinct is to retreat, right? But isolation makes you an easy target. Breeds paranoia. China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huangdi, hiding in his palace, growing paranoid.
Versus Talleyrand surviving all those regime changes by staying connected, never isolating himself.
Exactly. Which leads to Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. Keep your independence. Avoid strong allegiances. Gives you leverage. Keeps options open. Like Isabella d'Este, playing factions off each other in the Italian wars. Seeming interested, but never committing. Or Queen Elizabeth I, using marriage prospects to keep everyone guessing, retaining her power. Maximum flexibility.
And when there's unpleasant work, Law 26, keep your hands clean. Use scapegoats. Use cat's paws. Disguise your involvement.
Like Cao Cao, the Chinese general, blaming the supply chief for his own mistake to avoid a mutiny. Ruthless.
Redirects the anger. And the cat's paw. That's using an unwitting intermediary. A dupe to do your dirty work or spread info, shielding you. Yellow Kid Weil used unsuspecting people to build credibility with his main targets. Indirect action. Plausible deniability.
Smart, in a way. Then Law 42, straight to shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Trouble often comes from one strong leader, not the whole group.
Exactly. Pope Boniface VIII didn't fight Florence's army. He neutralized Dante Alighieri, isolated him from supporters through fake negotiations. The resistance just scattered. Target the source. Works in politics, business, anywhere.
And when it comes to change itself, Law 45, preach change, but never reform too much at once. People hate radical shifts. They're creatures of habit.
A classic trap for new leaders. You have to respect the old ways, at least outwardly. Thomas Cromwell's rapid Protestant reforms in England caused terror, revolt, his own downfall. Compare that to Cosimo de' Medici, quietly taking control of Florence but keeping the appearance of a republic. Gradual change behind the scenes. Respect people's comfort zones.
And the last one in this vein, Law 48. Assume formlessness. Having a visible shape, a fixed plan, makes you vulnerable. Be fluid, adaptable, like water.
A truly strategic idea. Ancient Sparta was rigid, right? Militarily strong, but rigid. It fell not just to armies, but to Athenian money, new ways of life it couldn't adapt to. Contrast Catherine the Great. Fluid, improvisational governing style, always adapting to Russia's moods. Almost impossible to pin down.
So these laws also stress the long game. Patience, strategy over impulse, playing chess, not checkers.
Definitely. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Most people focus on the immediate win, not the pitfalls, the backlash. Balboa, the explorer, made impulsive choices, didn't see the long term, ended up executed by Pizarro.
Ouch. Versus Bismarck, planning for decades to unify Germany, anticipating moves, even restraining his own generals after victory, always focused on the final goal.
That multi-step vision, and if you follow someone powerful, Law 41 warns, avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. It's incredibly hard to outshine them, get stuck in their shadow.
Right.
Alexander the Great is a rare exception, and he did it by ruthlessly downplaying his father Philip's achievements, constantly pushing beyond past glories, forging his own massive kingdom, creating a new legacy, not living off the old one.
And finally, knowing when to stop. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop. Victory is intoxicating, but dangerous. Leads to overreaching, arrogance.
The classic downfall. Cyrus the Great kept winning, got arrogant, disrespected Queen Tamiris, led to his gruesome defeat. Empire unraveled. Madame de Pompadour, though. She's a brilliant example of knowing when to shift. When her role as Louis XVI's mistress changed physically, she didn't freight it. She made herself indispensable politically, intellectually, even encouraged younger lovers who weren't a threat to her real power. She stopped pushing one way, consolidated in another.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive into these principles.
Yeah.
It really does seem like whether it's ancient courts or modern boardrooms, these dynamics are, well, remarkably consistent, almost like a timeless playbook.
Indeed. The laws can be jarring, sure, but they reveal these universal patterns. How people gain influence, keep it, lose it, highlight perception, subtle manipulation, and definitely self-control in navigating these complex social worlds. Less about morality, maybe, and more about what works.
So what's the bottom line for you, the listener? Understanding this stuff isn't about becoming a manipulator yourself, not necessarily. It's about recognizing these forces at play around you. Developing your own radar for hidden intentions, for strategies, seeing through appearances. That knowledge, even just observing, can empower you, help you protect yourself, make clearer choices. Understand the unspoken game of influence that's happening everywhere, every day. What unexpected insights might you find, looking at your own world through this lens?